Hi YouTube, and today what I'm going to do is, with pleasure, introduce you to my current version of Wailord-EX. This is a Primal Clash onwards version, and it really does give me immense satisfaction playing this deck online. At the moment, we do have a lot of players that are still playing with XY onwards. Trevenant gives this deck a really hard time. Battle Compressor does, anything grass, but I think this deck really does have quite a few tricks up its sleeve. So in the first video that I'll run today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the deck card by card. Just explain why it is that I've made these choices. Maybe even reference back to the older versions and where the original choices came from. And in the second video that's going to accompany this one, I'll go through a couple of play-by-play games. So, all right, okay. So in the older version. And in the XY version, there was a real emphasis on either blocking attacks or sponging damage and healing it off as quickly as possible, or just removing energy. So blocking attacks were blocking attack Pokemon were things like H/EX, which would block special energy Pokemon. You would also have Giratina-EX, which would have like a protection against Mega Evolution cards, and anything that just completely stacked energy, you would actually be able to counter with Dedenne. So the Edge Slash, unfortunately, was from Phantom Forces. Giratina-EX is still in the format, but I think the Mega Pokemon are actually on the wane at this stage. So there is Mega Sceptile-EX that is around, but I'm not too sure whether Giratina-EX's place is warranted in this deck as a result of just Mega Sceptile. And Dedenne it was the natural counter for things like Yveltal-EX, but unfortunately Dedenne has been rotated out now. It was in FRF. However, there is a version that I run of this deck which does include Lugia-EX. So Lugia is something that you could run, and I would just simply substitute out the fighting energy that I've got in the deck for double colorless. So you could run it that way. There is a Pokemon at the moment that does have a Hue type attack, but unfortunately it's a stage 1 and it's a Psychic. I think it might be Drifloon, but don't hold me on that one at the moment. But it's one that's just come out. It's either in Fates Collide or Steam Siege. But Durant is out because unfortunately it is in Furious Fist as well. Sorry, not Furious Fist, the fire one. FLF, I just know the code of it. So unfortunately, we can't get a win condition that way using Chip Off, which was discard cards from your opponent's hand at random until they had 4 cards in their hand. What you would do is you would just discard everything, and then they would just have no options at all. So we can't really do that. But what we do have back in the format is Carbink. So Carbink does have that ability that Suicune had. So Safeguard, great against Pokemon EX. So what you do is you can just effectively get them to burn their VS Seekers by using Hex Maniac, and then just stall for the win, or you use one of the win conditions that I'm just about to introduce to you as well. So you could do Carbink. Yanmega I'm experimenting with. This is completely experimental. 2/2 line just gives them something, just distracts them. Funnily enough, quite a few wins you can actually get by just placing Yanma active. And just having that enables them to just burn through cards for the first couple of turns, and then you suddenly put the Yanmega retreat, and then you just do your Wailord thing. That can be quite interesting. It's not difficult at all to actually get your card hand down to 4 cards. especially when you use things like Crushing Hammer. Again, the only thing that really counters things like Crushing Hammer and virtually all of the the item kind of heavy decks like Wailord are Trevenant, but they're all getting rotated out at the moment because Trevenant XY is being rotated out. So you may not have too much of an issue. Crushing Hammer still in the format at the moment. I think it was re-released in Generations. You've got Enhanced Hammer as well. So again, that is still in the format too. I think it was the special, it was the ultra rare, one of the sets, forgotten, but I might be able to bring it up actually in this one. Let's just have a look. I think yes, it was in Primal Clash as well. So you've got Enhanced Hammer still in the format. Very, very good against Giratina, by the way. Max Potion, complete staple in this deck. You have to have that, otherwise your Wailords are just going to go. VS Seeker again. VS Seeker, great to not recycle the healing or the avoidance supporters, things like AZ, Cassius, but to actually get as many of these going as throughout your game. Every single card that you burn is a turn that's closer to victory, as cliche as it sounds, but that's the objective. The objective is to put a full emphasis on Team Rocket's handiwork, and when you can't get that, just get the Team Flare Grunt going. Take away their energies. If you're up against a Greninja, that's going to be quite difficult, but what you can also do is you can get Lysandre, so you can get some really sneaky Lysandre victories where they just can't retreat, they haven't got anything for it, or it's just too heavy. This is actually really, really useful against things like Water Box, because what happens is they tend to fill up their bench. So you can actually start Lysandring out things like Mana for EX. Yeah, they can put an energy on there, but it's one energy less, so it's really sneaky. Hex Maniac, purely at this moment in time, PTCGO is clogged up with Trevenant, so I just want to have quite a few wins at this moment in time, but that can eventually go down to 1. Don't like playing Hex Maniac, especially when I've got Carbink around. 4 Fan Club at this moment in time, because that's your search. 3 Birch's observations over Shauna, purely because there is really nothing else. However, I have experimented with Psychic's Third Eye, so what you can do is you can actually get some really nice moves through Psychic's Third Eye if you actually have a trainer lock and you happen to have that Psychic's Third Eye, bring it out. It'd be really interesting to see what Lass is special. I think Lass is special, where you just have to draw a card out for every basic on the bench. How that would do against things like Rayquaza it's going to be quite interesting. But Rayquaza is not too bad a matchup, I have to say. Steven's a late addition actually for me. I know that it was played in older Wailord decks, but I kind of switched up because I was playing double colourless with Lugias in the previous build, and now I've switched back to Fighting Energy. If you really wanted to counter Bunnelby, you could play Zygarde-EX and just have 1 Zygarde-EX, 3 Carbink, and use that Zygarde-EX just as your counter to an opponent's Bunnelby. Bunnelby would just, I have to say, Bunnelby just completely destroys the deck. Tell you what really, really destroys this deck, Houndoom-EX. Houndoom-EX is awful, because what happens is they get their discard faster than you get yours, and you just, there really is no win against Houndoom-EX. What happens is they just continuously remove energy from you as well, so that can be a real pain. You can't solve with Carbink because they just deck you out eventually. So yeah, horrible matchup against Houndoom-EX, but everything else not too bad. 4 Rough Seas because you want to do your healing. Float Stone because Hard Charm has been rotated out, so you can't protect yourself by an extra 20. You could play Floral Crown. Have done that, but Float Stone just seems to get the edge over Floral Crown for me, because with Floral Crown, if you're active and you've got Floral Crown, which is great against, I have to say, I've got a couple of victories with Carbink with a Floral Crown attached to it, because my opponent's EX couldn't attack me. I think this was against a Mega Sceptile EX there, and its Ariados was trying to poison me, but the poison was being healed by the Floral Crown. It was the only way in which I could actually get the win against the Mega Sceptile. So, if you want to do Mega Sceptile, if you want to counter Mega Sceptile, pop a Floral Crown in there and just Carbink. But unfortunately, what happens is they just counter it with Hex Maniac. So, alright, you just have to, play it by ear really on that one. But Floral Crown, do like it, have tried it. it does work. If you were to play Floral Crown, by the way, or if you were to try and get a couple of other spaces in this deck, I would possibly drop down to 2 Crushing Hammer, if not 1 Crushing Hammer, because there's some decks out there that just Crushing Hammer just doesn't work against things like Greninja. So you know, there's no energy on the board. So that really is a very whistle stop tour through this deck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video just for now. So please switch over to my next video, which hopefully will be in the links. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to then have 3 games running where I've got the where I've got some play-by-play going, and have a lot of fun with that. So see you in a minute.